Good afternoon from the southeast of England. We're about 3 days away from an announcement that we're going to be eased out of lockdown. So obviously everyone's behaving if that announcement's already been made. So everybody is out. The sun is shining. We're in a new era of the world. It's going to be just a little bit shitter than it was before. Another great guest today on Blockspeak. Richard, is it? How do I pronounce your surname?
Hart.
Richard Hart.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was Hartman. Okay.
Nope, just Hart. I mean, it's a made-up name. It's a stage name. My real name is Schuler, which means student in German, and I hate that name. I can't pronounce it right. Yeah. See, you're pronouncing it right.
Ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen.
Nice. Yeah. So I've always disliked my last name, and it's not only can I not say it the right way, but it means student. It doesn't mean like king or professor or like something baller, so.
No, well, absolutely. My mate, when I was 11 years old, started to call me Monty because of my surname, Monty Munford. But my real name is Paul.
Right.
But even my wife couldn't marry me in that name. She said she didn't know that character. So There's an exclusive, Paul Mumford. It's not the same as Monty Mumford. Do you know what I mean?
Right. It's got a good alliteration to it, though.
Well, yeah,
a good band name.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, I've had that one before. Mumford and Sons, right? So seriously, I don't know where you are. You look like you're in Vegas. What's that?
Yeah,
that's a great background.
This is just where I live. It never changes. I just like nice looking stuff. And so, I tell people about this antique from the year, late 1700s or early 1800s, piece of cabinetry behind me. You could pick that up for $1,200-1,500, which is about what you're going to pay for something from IKEA, except this will outlast you, outlive you. You can move it, and it doesn't mind being moved. If you try and move like IKEA furniture, it evaporates. It just melts.
Absolutely.
So, if you can get something that appreciates in value, looks awesome, is more functional, is more durable, and looks better, you're like, okay, yeah, no brainer. And then you just do that everywhere, right? Like, I've had to put a little connector on my XLR here. So I got one with little Swarovski crystals in it. Why not? It only cost, $10-20 more, but it's better.
Absolutely.
So,
It's all about quality. It's all about quality, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like, I have somewhere here a Mont Blanc pen that cost me, here we go. That cost me about $500, right? It seems like a waste of money, but I'm a writer, and that will last me until I get drunk and lose it again, which I've done 10 times before. That should last me another 20 years, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, Richard, I'm so used to Zoom backgrounds. I really thought that was a Zoom background.
No, it's real. It's all real.
That's how we're all being brainwashed, right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I used to have a different camera it didn't have eye focus, and so it would have focus breathing back and forth, and then you could see the background, coming in and out the bokeh. But now that it has eye focus, it kind of doesn't move around as much, so it might look more like a background than real life.
Oh, okay. Well, it just shows I don't know if we're living in a simulation or what, but the world's gone a bit crazy. How have you been these last couple of months? Has it changed you? Has anything happened to you? How do you feel about it?
I never go out anyway. All I do is work. I wake up, I get a shower, I eat, and I work for 16 hours until I can't stay up anymore, and then I go to sleep. And I do that 7 days a week. And for me, it didn't really change, except, damn, cooking sucks. Cooking sucks, and laundry sucks. So I'm not really a fan of those things.
Do you live on your own, I presume?
Yeah.
Yeah, 16 hours a day. Do you not get the sun on you, mate? A bit of vitamin D.
I get vitamin D from fish oil. It's like an additive in there, but no, I don't go out. I would like at some point to be able to go out again, but I'm not. Everyone's going out and they think everything's better because the lockdown has stopped. But from my perspective, absolutely nothing has changed.
Yeah.
There's a virus which still sucks and sends you to the hospital, some portion of the people that get it. I don't like going to the fucking hospital.
Yeah.
So until there's a vaccine or herd immunity, I'm not in a rush to go breathe other people's air. I can wait.
It's funny. I've been watching kind of not old films that are like 2 or 3 years old, and there's people in a crowd, and it's like, oh, don't get so close. You know what I mean? I think we've all been brainwashed, bro. So listen. So Bitcoin. What you were talking about, your candelabra in the background, saying it's quality and it'll last for a long time and looks good. It's basically the description of gold, right? You know what I mean? That's where we come from. It's what you just
Doesn't
said.
look as good as it did in 2011.
No,
It's still
absolutely.
down 20 or 30%, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's 10
But
years ago.
do you think that, what do you think is going to happen with Bitcoin? Because everyone, I mean, I'm not the world's greatest investor or anything like that. And it would be good for us to tell our audience about Hex, although I'm sure most of them know about it. Let's start with that one. What's Hex?
So Bitcoin tried to do a lot of things, and some of them it was successful at, and some of it wasn't. And it's very hard to improve, which is why in 10 years you haven't actually gotten any new features. You have a number in your wallet, you make your number go down, you make somebody else's go up. It's called a send, and that's it. That's all you got. And it's okay, but it's not fast. And even the price performance is like, we dropped 85% from 20K to 3K.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just dropped 65% from 14K to 3,800. Well, that sucks. And that was two retarded size drops in 2 years. So, from a price performance, speed, improvement perspective, I want more. I want more. I want more price performance. I want more features. I want more security. And you can build these things,
You can. How do you do that?
Well, if you want to come out with a new game theory and bootstrap a new consensus around value, you need a reliable substrate. So, for instance, the most traded cryptocurrency in the world isn't really a cryptocurrency. It's called Tether, and they do the most volume of any crypto ever. And it's on top of the Ethereum network as an ERC20. It used to be on top of the Bitcoin network on the Omni protocol, but it was more expensive and slower. So they just switched. And now all the transactions are on Ethereum because it's faster and more useful. On Bitcoin, you just have a dumb network that can send value, and that's it. On Ethereum, you have a smart network that can do any form of computation you can dream, as long as it's really pretty simple and basic. Mm-hmm. So we've got distributed exchanges where you don't have to sign up, you don't have to send selfies, you don't have to tell them who you are, there's no AML, there's no KYC, there's just you and the code with no counterparty risk. Right. So if you want to go from Hex or Ethereum to a stable coin like Tether or USDC or TUSD, all these other different things, you can do that on the Ethereum network. You cannot do that on the Bitcoin network, and it's unlikely that you will ever be able to.
Can you do it? Can you do it on other networks apart from Ethereum?
So code is code, and you can run it on a lot of different substrates. So there are other consensus networks that started off as forks of Ethereum, but they don't have as many developers, and they don't have as much liquidity, and they don't have as many users, and they don't have as much security, and they don't have as much hash rate, and just everything's worse pretty much. So there's all kinds of places you can go to get higher throughput with lower security and lower censorship resistance. But I'm not interested in that. I don't think we need higher throughput. I think there's not that many users. I want security. I want price performance. I don't care about getting more throughput with lower security. Mm-hmm. So if you like any of the open source codes that's out there, you can just run your own copy of it. But the problem is getting other people to play with. Yeah, he has your own coin called ETH2. Okay, well I don't want it. Like no one will buy it from you,
So to put it into layman's language, or for me, basically, mm-hmm. I know a little bit about crypto.
Okay, I'll make it simpler.
What are you? What is Hex? Just for
Hex is the world's first blockchain CD. So Bitcoin tried to be currency, failed entirely, but it became digital gold, which is more valuable. So great.
Yeah.
Hex attacks the time deposit market. So everyone knows that there's a time value of money. Mm-hmm. And probably the second most popular product at your bank is the time deposit. So you want to get more interest than a savings account, lock up your funds. The longer you lock them, the more we'll pay you.
Yeah.
We took that, copied it, put it on the blockchain. The longer you lock up the funds, the longer you get paid, the more you get paid. And we pay stakers to lock funds and hold the price up, instead of in Bitcoin where you pay miners who dump the price and sell their coins for electricity, or else they go out of business. So miners in Bitcoin sell the price every hour, every minute, they sell it. And stakers in Hex hold the price up. And so we have less negative externalities pushing the price down, which is why the hex price has gone up 110 fold in 121 days. And it's up
110
Yeah.
fold.
Yes.
So I have got $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to, well, Hex looks good. It looks like a Bitcoin plus. It looks safer. I'm willing to go 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Would that be your optimal customer, or is it someone different or bigger?
The average stake length is 4 years, and I think it's like 4.18 years, about 4.2. It's funny, if you have something that people buy, and the higher the price is, the more they like to buy it because they believe it's stronger, and they lock it so they can't sell it. What do you think happens to the price of such a thing?
Yeah,
that people only buy and they don't sell.
Yeah,
and they prefer to buy at higher prices. You're like, well, I mean, it seems like it was designed to go up in price. So if you stake 5 years, you get an extra 20% bonus shares for every extra year that you stake. So you would receive for a 5-year stake 2 times the shares. So if you staked your 50,000 and 50,000 value worth of Hex, because you're not staking Bitcoin, you're not staking your dollars, you're not staking Bitcoin, you're staking Hex. So you would transform your money into Ethereum or other stuff like USDC, and then you would turn that into Hex. You could either do it yourself at go.hex.win, pumpamentals.com if you want a 10% bonus, or you could do it on exchange like hexdex.win that has $13 million, $12 million of liquidity on it, which is a very thick order book. It means that if you do a $50,000 purchase, you're likely only to pay a slippage of about 1% to 1.5%.
Right.
So you're only going to pay like 1% to push the market when you put an order in that size in a single chunk.
Yeah. So again, go back to my $50,000 of fiat, and I think,
Sure.
right, okay. Do you know what? I'm a bit worried about the price of oil or whatever. You know what I mean? I'll put it in Hex, but I want to take it out in a 12 months time. So sure. I know that it's going to be less than 5 years. That's obvious. And then I want to take it out. It's easy enough.
Well, it depends on how long you staked for. So in this example, did you stake for 5 years and now you want to take it out in 1 year?
No. I just staked for 1 year, and I want to get out after 1 year.
Yeah. So you can stake anywhere from 1 day to 5,555 days. It's about 15
okay.
years. As long as you end your stake when you said you would, or within 2 weeks after, you don't pay any penalties.
Right. Okay.
If you don't end your stake when you said you would, or within that, could be incurred penalties, and those penalties in part go to benefit all the other stakers who did what they said they would.
Yeah. Okay.
If you emergency end stake and you have a shorter stake, it doesn't hurt that bad. If you serve half, but if you don't serve half your term and you have a long stake and you end it early, you can murder yourself with penalties.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a little bit like so you've got a 25-year mortgage, and you get a result or whatever, and you can pay off that 25-year mortgage in one. You'll get huge penalties for doing so, right? Because they don't want you to do that. It's the same model. Okay.
Yep. So it's very similar. So when you play the game properly, you're rewarded by people that fucked up.
Yeah.
When you fuck up, you're a sad boy. So, and that's all banking, right? Most banking has these fee structures built in, and it's where the majority of the revenue comes from. So we've copied the things that work in the legacy world, and we put them into this, and God damn, it works. I mean, we're the most liquid coin. So when you talk about getting out, right, what happens is a lot of coins, they'll have really high price performance. And then when you go to sell them, you can't. They're not liquid, right? You push the market against you trying to get out. Hex is the most liquid cryptocurrency in the world in on-chain exchange, which means no AML, no KYC, none of that shit, no counterparty risk. With that 12 to 13, sometimes $15 million of liquidity that's there. And what that means is that if you wanted to get out, and by the way, you don't have to stake. I mean, you've got 100x returns without staking. The people that staked, they're making even more. They're making the 100x plus the return. They're making 100x on their coins, and then they're getting more coins as well, which is fucking amazing.
So 110 fucking K, sorry, 110 X.
Yeah.
In 21 days.
121 days.
Sorry, excuse me. That's my fault. Were you expecting that?
No.
What were you expecting?
So, I'm a trader, cryptocurrency expert, business guy, marketing guy, serial entrepreneur. I've worn a lot of hats, and I used every single tactic I know to make this thing price performative. So it has a referral program. Someone refers you, you get a 10% bonus. You refer somebody, you get 20% on top of their whole stack. If you get in early, you make more. So every you can free claim the stuff if you are a Bitcoin holder. And over 220,000 or 207, I don't know, I think it's 220, but in between 207 and 220,000 Bitcoin holders or Bitcoins, $1.6 billion of Bitcoin, maybe it's 1.8 billion now, have free claimed their hacks. That's a lot of money, man. These guys could have used those keys to spend that Bitcoin. And instead they use those keys to claim their hacks. So we've got people in control of about $2 billion that have claimed their hacks. And we're only 4 months in. We've also got over.
I mean, I'm going to ask you a question now, which is really a question from somebody else. Whenever I hear about getting rich, I'm not really a capitalist. I'm a situationist and anarchist and fuck money and all that stuff. Happiness is bigger, and whatever makes you happy, whether it's working hard for 16 hours or traveling to Somaliland. You know what I mean? What would be the most hostile question that you could expect from a journalist or an investor or anyone?
Oh, sure. Fuck. I've dealt with these for 2 years. I've got them all figured.
Give me what's the worst question I would ask you, and how would you counter it?
Oh, sure. Well, first, I love that question. That's absolutely a great question that you asked.
Thank you.
You asked it to the right guy, so I'm going to hit a home run for you. Richard, haven't we seen similar Ponzi schemes like this crash and burn, and people kill themselves over massive losses of money? And don't you feel bad about their families? Okay, that's the best job I could do. So here's my answer. You are in cryptocurrency, and all cryptocurrencies drop like fuck, all of them, except maybe stable coins, and they have tail risk. When they drop, they'll just drop to zero. There's probably not so much of a midpoint. So Ethereum went from 15 cents to $1,500 in 2.5 years. That's a 10,000x. Hex is only at 110x. That's how Bitcoin right now is at $9,600.
Yep.
And it used to be a penny. That's 960,000x.
Yeah.
And it did that in about 10 years. Yeah. It used to be 2 millionx. Yeah. And it did the 2 millionx in 8 years.
Yeah.
So we're in the highest appreciating asset class that has ever existed in the history of mankind. Because of that, you can get returns that are unimaginable, unheard of. However, there is a price, there is a cost, and that is extreme volatility, and not always to the upside. So Bitcoin went from 20,000 to 30,000, and then it went from 14,000 to 3,800. Ethereum went from 15 cents to 1,500 to 86 to 280 to 80, 88 or 87.
Yeah.
So these are very volatile. Now, imagine how hard the dump has to be percentage-wise to cancel out a 100x gain. And even after all those terrible dumps and drops in Bitcoin and Ethereum and a lot of other cryptocurrencies, if you got in early, you're still up 10x, 100x still, because you're in the highest appreciating asset class in the world. So if you're the kind of person who buys the top, has weak hands, can't hold through a dip, and is going to sell the bottom, yeah, you're going to lose money. And the money you lose is everyone else's profit. You're the guy that let everyone else make money because you got shaken out. Now, that doesn't apply to everything. There are some coins that go up really high and then they go down and then they never get back up. Yeah. So if you have a bullshit coin that doesn't have product market fit, innovation, scalability, a moat to protect their price performance, Hex did Hex is better than Bitcoin, a lot better. And I believe it's better than Ethereum as well. And, the price, it's not just the price performance that's the reason for that. So,
well, don't put a hex on it.
Go ahead.
Don't put a hex on it if you know what I mean.
Right.
So yeah. I'm sure you've heard that one.
Yeah. So I care. The most important thing a cryptocurrency can do, in my worldview, is appreciate in price. That's enough. They don't have to cure cancer. They don't have to solve voting. They don't have to solve politics. They just need to go up in price. And do you know what else has that property? Coca-Cola stock.
Yeah.
Do you think people that buy Coca-Cola stock are sugary drink fans and they're trying to, go down there and improve the formula?
Yeah.
No, they want to make money.
Yeah.
They want to make money, and houses has been turned into a money-making operation. Education has been turned into a money-making operation. Everything is it's the everything bubble, because everyone's trying to force yield out of everything. So they've got this glut of money that keeps getting printed all the time, and they have to make yield on it because they're fighting deflation, or inflation rather. So they've got to shove it in every place that they can think of to try and get a return on investment. And it creates misinvestment and malinvestment. And we get this cycle where the economy crashes every 10 years. And we went maybe 14 or 15 this round. So it's like people don't realize that they're all in Ponzi-like games, because every single honest business activity is being turned into a speculative Ponzi.
I agree with that. So I totally agree with that. I think the whole capitalism is Ponzi, period. Do you know what I mean?
But you know what? It's there's an upside to that as well. So like having in the United States, everyone in debt is personally horrible, but it's great for GDP, which benefits other countries.
Yep.
Having 30,000 plus gun deaths a year is personally horrible for people that live in the United States.
Yep.
But it's an insurance policy against a tyrant of the world's hegemon that controls all of the aircraft carriers. So it benefits Canada and Mexico that it's less likely to have a tyrant in the States because there's insane gun ownership percentages. But the price for that insurance is a lot of extra deaths. So I'm able to see the plus and the minus to things. And a lot of people, they're just missing one of the halves.
Yeah. No, I get that. There's a nature is balance. And I think we've seen what's happened over the last 2 months, that nature has had a bit of a word with us. Because
it's nothing new. I mean, this is you.
No, absolutely.
This Contagion. Everything that you saw now was in the movie Contagion.
Yeah, no.
And it was like,
well, the best part of that,
surprising.
The best part of that movie for me, and I did watch it recently, was not the best Gwyneth Paltrow dying. I mean, that was very sad. But it was when she was in the morgue.
You don't see a lead die that early. Usually.
No, I know. But then you think she's out of the movie, and then you see it. You don't see her. You see a body with the head scalped back. It's fucking Gwyneth Paltrow.
That's fucking gross.
It was
that was gross.
Funniest thing I've ever seen. I swear, blind.
Call everybody. I remember that scene very well.
I think my wife and my teenage son slightly got frightened of me.
The saw sound, it's like,
Jesus.
And the blood splatter on the guy's face mask is like, fuck all that.
We were literally 3 months ago talking about that at my club in London, because I'm a bit of a wanker. I'm a Bolshevik, Bollinger Bolshevik socialist, champagne socialist. And we were laughing about that film, saying, you know what? It's starting to feel a little bit like Contagion. Do you know what I mean? And you're right.
It is. It's legit as fuck.
It's exactly that.
Roadblocks, temperature checks, green zones with tags that show you got antibodies. You're like, yep, fucking, it's all there. Forsythia carrying it, You're like, shit, dude. This is way too accurate for my liking.
That's like, it's like
came from the bat. I'm like, fuck, the movie got everything right. Fuck.
So maybe we have some time travelers within us. I think that everybody would know why 110X, everyone would pretty much know why they wanted to buy into your thing, right? Because of these untold and not for the first time. But I'm just interested in what's in it for you. You know what I mean? Not many people.
Well, I don't talk about what's in it for me, but I can answer your question in a way that probably makes you happy.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't. No. I mean, that's not. This is authentic here, mate. We don't.
You'll see. Believe me, but I'm telling you, you'll be fulfilled at the end of the answer.
Go on.
I'm not going to leave you hanging.
I'll give you one.
I know what you're looking for. There's an origin address that receives 50% of the bonuses from the launch phase. So when you refer somebody and they get a 10% bonus, the origin address gets a copy of it. When you are a refer and get paid 20% on top of everything that person got, the origin address gets a copy of that. If there's a speed bonus, so if you got in the first day, you got a 20% speed bonus, and it dies to 0 over the 350-day claim phase. And right now we're about halfway done with the claim phase. So it's only 10% now. Origin address gets a copy of that. If you're the guy that fucks up an emergency end stakes and pays a penalty, or stakes late and pays a penalty, then half of your penalty is given to all of the other staker class, and half of it is given to the origin address. Nobody knows who this origin address is. A lot of people think it's me, but no one knows. As you can see, this answers your question. Who is the entity that is making the money that is the reason that this might exist, right?
So I am now intrigued.
Sure. But wait, hold on. There's more. There's another angle here. When you transform it, you can transform Ethereum directly into Hex in the contract itself. And it's similar to Bitcoin mining. In Bitcoin mining, you buy some hardware, you burn some electricity, and you mint your own coins out of thin air. And you, in order to be accepted socially that your coins are valid, they have to meet the rules of the network. And so there's a difficulty target that means how hard you had to work to make them. Hex has that as well. You have to do the proof of work difficulty target stuff, although most people pay a miner to do that for them, a couple pennies, like 3 cents to do a transaction.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a penny, sometimes it's 5, depends on how busy the network is. And the network consensus rule is that for you to mint your own coins, socially, you have to have either had Bitcoin at the snapshot date, which was December 1st, 2019, 7 p.m. EST. And then you can claim for free, or you can have sent Ethereum to the contract using the XF join lobby function that then at the end of the day will turn those, or you will be able to mint your own Hex. So there's a bucket every day of about 500 million Hex, and then there's an empty bucket that people can put Ethereum in. And if you're 10% of the Ethereum bucket, you get 10% of the Hex that day. If you're 50% of the Ethereum bucket, you get 50% of the Hex. So that's another, someone or something may have the keys to the flush address that those Ethereum can be flushed to. And I think something like maybe 200,000 or 300,000 Ethereum has been received by that, by the contract.
So there's nothing like a bit of mystery and intrigue in Bitcoin,
Who founded Bitcoin?
Satoshi, you know what I mean? I was at a conference 2 years ago in moderating a panel in West London. Usual crowd, mostly male, quite a fiery little conversation. And there was an Indian man there. And I had a silly T-shirt on saying Satoshi is female, just to wind a few people up. And there was a kind of short Indian guy there, well, not a Sikh, but with a headdress. And he kept staring at me as I was kind of, it was very, very different type of, audience and all that stuff. Blah, 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 blah. And then he came up to me afterwards, like shimmered, like he was across the fucking Lake Galilee or something like that. And he said, your T-shirt is wrong. Just remember, your T-shirt is wrong. And it probably wasn't him, but it's just that I'm telling you a story, right? So keep it mysterious, right? I mean, what do you think of fake Toshi? What do you think about all that nonsense?
Well, I mean, a guy, so Satoshi's writings on the internet are very measured and non-extreme and reasonable and friendly. And then the writings of fake Toshi are extreme and violent and derogative and just insulting. Not the same writing style.
Do you think he's insane?
His mother testified, or his mother spoke with a newspaper and said that he has had problems with lying his whole life.
Really?
If your own mother fucking sells you out, it's not looking good.
A face only a mother could love, right?
And the judge recently threw the book at him in West Palm Beach, Florida, with making fake evidence up. So it's like, it's very simple. Satoshi invented a system to get rid of trust and replace it with cryptographic signatures. That's the entire reason Bitcoin exists. Okay.
That's a very nice statement.
So how would Satoshi himself prove he was Satoshi? With a cryptographic fucking signature.
Absolutely.
It's very simple.
Absolutely.
So, and then, I have a lot of data on this story. So he gets these tax credits from the Australian Tax Authority, Tax Office, ATO. And he says he's been doing research about the Bitcoin blockchain, modeling it, doing research. What did he need to do that? A lot of computers, a supercomputing network. Sure. So let me get this right. Satoshi, he used to mine Bitcoin with computers and took probably 1 million coins for himself. He then, many years later, decides, I don't really know what's going on with this fucking thing I built. I'm not going to buy mining hardware with these millions of dollars that I said I had. I'm going to buy fucking something that provides no economic benefit whatsoever and go blow some millions on modeling the network. Bullshit. Then you look at his papers, which he's deleted a lot of them. I saved them before he did. They're just full of bad science, he's bad at statistics. He got a D in statistics from his college that no one's ever heard of in the middle of nowhere in Australia. His like paper that he did, his like thesis or whatever, it's full of reportedly it's full of copying. It's all copied from somebody else. It's plagiarized.
But why did anyone take this fucking idiot seriously? I mean, is it?
I can continue, by the way. I can rag on this guy forever.
I think I might have unleashed hell there, but hopefully I'll get a chance to meet you face to face so we can have a beer and talk about it.
Right.
But how did anyone take him seriously?
People fall for appeal to complexity. So there's a group of people that feels if they don't understand a thing, that the thing must be right.
Yeah.
And if they fall for, that's why confidence men are called con men. Con men are confidence men. They inspire your confidence.
Yeah,
so you don't need proof. So if this guy yells loud enough and acts like a big enough prick and uses enough words that you don't understand, oh, well, he's probably legit then. And some portion of people fall for that shit. And unfortunately, there's this asymmetry of force required to refute bullshit than to generate it.
No, absolutely.
It's about 9 or 10 to 1.
Yeah. And that's why the world is as it is now, I think. You know what I mean? I just don't understand. If I don't know anything, right, there are two things, right? One, if I ask someone, I'm going to know more. And number two, when people have more knowledge than you and you ask them a question, they are so fucking happy to share their knowledge. It's a win-win. The rest of it seems like another species to me. Hey man, it's been a fascinating conversation, right? You know what I mean?
I could talk to you forever.
No, I've never met you before, and I thought it might be awkward, but it's turned into really, you're a very assertive and confident man. You know what I mean?
I
don't think you're a bullshitter. That's my initial.
I don't think I am. I mean, you could check my track record, right? It's all on Twitter. So I called the Bitcoin $20,000 Christmas, basically to the penny. 4 months earlier at like $4,000. I called the short and said that we were going to dump from 19,600. I called the bear market at 8,500.
I'm starting
and this is just price calls, right? But I have all types of other calls. You
might be the new Satoshi, mate.
Well, no. I mean, like, no. Satoshi did a lot of things wrong that I wouldn't have done. So, not having Bitcoin.com, he only had the .org.
Yeah.
That's a little stupid.
Yeah. Who's got that? That's Roger Vere's got that now, right?
Yeah. And then, he's trying to build poker into the client when he first built it. I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure I would have done that. It's like code bloat. Just do one thing and do it right. And then he didn't even put this halvening, this interest rate dropping in half every 4 years, which is coming up in a few days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably why the price is pumping now.
Do you think
it's just dropping very harshly earlier?
Do you think it's pumping? I would have thought that the halving would have been baked into the price anyway, right?
It never has been. It never has been. I mean,
really, I didn't know that.
I mean, you're talking about an asset that almost always goes up historically over a long time frame. It's never been down for more than 3 years. It's never happened. So it's like it's very hard to bet against this cryptocurrency. Yeah. Any cryptocurrency almost. Even the scammy shitty ones. The shittiest. It's said that the shittiest scams pump the hardest. And when you look at it, you're like, fuck yeah, actually. Like yes, they do. Wow. Which makes me feel bad for something that's like, it's unfortunate that Hex is pumping so hard, but like it's so well designed. Yeah. This is with, by the way, totally suppressed. No one will publish any good news about Hex whatsoever. Only bad news will be published. Everyone hates it because they don't understand it. They go to the website and they see the website talk about price performance and they instantly think scam, because most websites that talk about price performance probably are scams. Unfortunately, so their scam detector is working right, but it hit an edge case. So underneath the language of here's what's possible, right? Look, like has anyone else ever told you Bitcoin's up 9,000 or 950,000x right now? No, I'm the only guy to do that. And it's on the chart and it's real. I'm the only guy popularizing it. And so this is the language that I speak, the language of a trader. And when people hit the site, they don't get down to the part where they go, here, look at the audits. There's no admin keys. There's no off switch. There's no pause switch. It's got 1 economics audit and 2 security audits. You know how many audits Bitcoin has? 0.
Yeah.
It's safer because the consensus code is in this modular smart contract that can never be changed. It can never be edited. Whereas every time the Bitcoin Core client is upgraded, sometimes the consensus gets fucked up and you can mint as many free coins as you want. It's happened twice. So we have technical improvements and game theory improvements. And then a lot of smart people, they never get to learn about those because they just see designed to appreciate. And they're like, fuck, scam. It's tragedy because they're losing the opportunity of their lifetime.
Well, listen, you've had an opportunity with me. I like to think of myself as a reasonably authentic person. I think the audience is going to be very interested in what you're doing. I think the 2 questions, well, 1 question in 2 parts needs to be asked, bearing in mind your confidence about calling the market. Price of Bitcoin at the end of 2021 and the price of Bitcoin at the end of 2022, please.
2021 is like about a year and a half from now. I mean, this is nearly impossible to answer because of COVID. So I think, my gut feeling is market pumps because we're coming off of lockdown, market pumps because of halvening. And then once halvening happens, my gut feeling is we dump, just like we did on the CME launch. Because people go and find out that even though the lockdown's over, too many bubbles are popping at the same time and it's contracting the money supply faster than they can print it. And jobs that are gone aren't coming back for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's eventually the market will have to realize if the market is indeed tied to earnings, and if earnings is indeed tied to people having money to spend and having jobs, well, then that negative feedback cycle is going to play out for a year or 2.
Yeah.
So my gut feeling is this is a giant bull trap, and that we were going to find new lows in the S&P 500. And since crypto has shown that it is wonderfully correlated to the S&P 500, it's likely that we're going to dump with it until a bottom is found. And then we can all go to the moon together, and I would expect cryptocurrencies to outperform. Now, could I be wrong? And could COVID just mutate into something more reasonable and all that shit? Sure, I'd love to see that. And I should add that while everything else was dying because of the big drop, Hex was going up. Hex was appreciating more than the market could drop to try and cancel it.
Well, it's really good that you've put the record straight in your own words.
I didn't give you numbers, by the way, so I pull those numbers out of my ass, and you should have no confidence in them at all.
No,
2021, I think, will be 11,000, and 2022, I think, will be 28,000, 26.5. I pulled those right out of my ass.
Good,
just right out.
I actually did sell some Ethereum at 1,200, so I'm not completely stupid, Richard, absolutely fascinating. We'd love to have you on.
Pleasure,
again. It was really, really interesting speaking to you. And that was fabulous. Just, round of applause. Really enjoyed your company. I'll buy you a beer.
Should I tell you where to go to see all my other stuff? Like, should I shill my social links?
Go and shill.
Okay. So I wrote a couple books, self-help books. They're in outline form right now because an editor is going through and cleaning them up for publication. They have all the good thoughts I've ever had, pretty much. It's called Survive. How do you survive through science? The 9 secret keys to winning at life. And basically, it's a book on how to make money, how to get laid, how to do all the cool stuff that guys actually like to do. And then at the end, I try and pivot you into like, hey, you can get rich doing medical research. The life you save might be your own. If you're already living with your cup floweth over, might as well just be able to stick around longer and have a better health span.
Absolutely.
So I hook you with the guy stuff, and then I try and pivot you into the wholesome stuff at the very end. We've got t.me/hex crypto Telegram chat, 20,000 members, about 21,000 now. Got 50, 60K on Twitter or on YouTube. Well, about 65 on Twitter. Twitter.com/Richard Hart Win, YouTube.com/Richard Hart, and YouTube.com/Survive, because they're like putting strikes on my channel for talking about crypto, unfortunately. So I've got to spread it across more channels to not lose them. Then we've got pumpamentals.com. If you want 10% bonus minting your own Hex, or all the other amazing stuff you can do with Hex.
Coming to the end of shill.
Almost.
Quick.
So pumpamentals.com, t.me/Hex crypto, twitter.com/Richard Hart Win, t.me/Survive for the free books. And that's it. Donate to sense.org if you like charity.
Good man. Thank you very much. Good luck. Stay safe. And let's see what happens. Who knows? Happy days. This is Monty Mumford from Blockspeak. Very interesting, and I was a little bit out of my depth, I'll be completely honest, at times, but I think I got the gist of it, and I hope that you got some understanding. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it, Richard. Yeah. So it's Monty Mumford signing off. The world in the UK will change, I think, on Monday. If it doesn't change, so it's a bank holiday tomorrow in this country, Richard, because we won the war. It's a big holiday. Yeah,
Congrats.
Tomorrow. So as if people are going to stay at home on a sunny day tomorrow. It's going to be fucking mayhem tomorrow. I'm telling you, mayhem. True. But anyway, goodbye for Blockspeak, goodbye for Richard Hart, and see you on Tuesday, where we have an extraordinary guest that I have to refer to as His Excellency.
Ooh.
Watch this space. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.